Can you all listen me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last two classes, we have talked about the stack data structure. So today we are going to talk about a queue data structure. So queue data structure is found to be same as that of stack data structure because both these data structure are linear data structure where we can see that both these data structure represent an ordered list where uh, insertion and deletions are permitted according to their specifications. Okay, so queue data structure is a special type of order list where insertions are permitted at one end and deletion is permitted at the other end of the list. Okay, so if we consider a real life example of a queue, then we can see the queue of individuals can be seen in front of some counter where the individuals can buy the cinematic hits. Individuals can queue for some item. Okay, so buy some item or something else. So we can see the queue of individuals or queue of some items where we can see that the individuals which are entered into the queue first will take the items and go out from the queue first. Okay, so queue is like a FIFO structure. So FIFO structure means the first element which is entered into the queue will be removed from the queue first. That means the element which is removed first will be added to the queue first. That is why the queue is called the FIFO structure, first in first out structure or first in first out list. Okay, so in queue, if we consider a water pipeline, then we can see in the water pipeline both the ends are open. Okay, in the queue, but in case of stack, one end is closed, another end is open. So here in the queue structure, both the ends are open, and the end where insertions are performed are called the rear end of the list. Okay, and the other end from where the deletions are made is called the front of the list or front end of the list. So that means in a queue. In a one end will be called as rear end and another end is called as front end. So in the rear end we perform the insertion operations and at the front end we perform the deletion operations. Okay, now how these operations are performed, let us consider there is a queue, empty queue. So initially here we can see a queue. Initially the queue is empty and the front and rear will be found to be -1. So -1 means that initially queue is found to be empty. So when the first item will be inserted at the rear end, then both the front and rear will point to this first item. That means the when the first item will be added to the queue, then this first item will be pointed to by front end and rear end, or front pointer and rear pointer. Okay, that means both the front and rear variables will contain this element. And when the insertions will be made repeatedly, that means we if we insert some other elements like b c d, first element was a, okay, next element was b, then we insert c and d. So after inserting three more elements, now front will point to the first element and rear will point to the fourth element. Okay, so that means when the insertions are made at the rear end, then rear will be incremented by 1. So front will point to the same element, that is the first element, but rear will be incremented by 1 after adding the elements in the queue. So But when some element will be deleted from the front, then front will also be incremented by 1. That means if I consider that A is deleted, then the front will point to the next element, that is the second element B, and the first position will be found to be empty. That means when the first element will be deleted, the front will be incremented by 1, then the front will hold the second element and the first position will be found to be empty. Okay. So what are the operations we can perform on a queue? So firstly, we can initialize a queue to be empty, and we can determine if a queue is empty or not. We can also determine if a queue is full or not. Okay. So we can add a new element after the last element in a queue if it is not full. That means when the queue is not found to be full, then we can add a new element after the last element. So this addition will be done at the rear end of the queue. Okay. We can also retrieve the first element of a queue if it is not empty. Okay. If the queue is not found to be empty, then we can retrieve the first element. So the first element to be retrieved from the front end, that is the front of the queue. We can also remove the first element in a queue if it is not found to be empty. So these are the operations, list of operations that we can perform on a queue. Now, if we implement a queue using array, then we will consider a one-dimensional array. Okay, we will consider one-dimensional array, and we will take two variables. The first variable is called the front variable, and another variable is rear variable, and both these variable will be type of int. And here the array is data type. Here the array is the elements. Okay, so the size of the array becomes maximum, that means the size of the queue plus 1. So why this one is added? So here we are considering the size of the queue is max queue size, max underscore queue underscore size plus 1. Okay, this one is added to hold the uh, minus 1 when the queue is found to be empty. That means initially when the queue is found to be empty, then both front and rear will hold minus 1. To add this position for minus 1, we need an extra or auxiliary location or auxiliary position at the beginning of the array. Okay, so therefore to represent the queue to be empty, we need to assign minus 1 to both the front and rear variable. Okay, so that is why this one is added to the maximum size of the queue. So here all the elements will be type of data type. So when we define a structure for these three members, that is the array elements. Okay, and then we have the front and rear variables, which will be type of int, and this structure is defined before we make or before we do some insertion and deletion operations. Okay, so initially when the queue is found to be empty, both the rear and front will be assigned by minus 1, and when some element will be added to the queue, then rear will be found to be incremented by 1. Okay, and when some element will be deleted from the front will be incremented by 1. Okay, so what are the observations we can make from the implementation of queue using array data structure? So if the queue is non-empty, okay, that means partially if the queue is filled with the elements, then front always denote one less than the index of the beginning of the queue. Okay, so here the front denotes one less than the index of the beginning of the queue. Okay, this is the first observation, and the second observation is that, so anytime if we want to measure the length of the queue, then we need to subtract the front from the rear. That means rear minus front will give us the length of the queue. So at any time, so if we repeatedly perform the deletions and insertion operations, and we want to measure the length of the queue at that point, then we have to subtract the front from the rear. Okay, this is the second observation. And the third observation that we can make, when the when the front is found to be rear is true. That means when the queue is found to be empty, then we can write a condition where front will be found to be rear. So as I said, the initially we assign -1 to both front and rear variable to indicate the queue is now empty. Okay. Now we call the insertion operation at queue operation. So here we define the atq function, where we take two arguments. The first argument is the item, and the second argument is the pointer variable q. Okay. So here item is the type of data type, and pointer q is type of q. Now when the q rear will be found to be full. Okay. That means the last position of the array will be filled with some element, then q rear will be found to be the maximum size of the queue. Okay, that means the q rear will be found to be equal to max queue size. Then it will return 0. Otherwise, we can increment the rear position by 1. So rear index by 1. So when we increment the rear index by 1, then we can assign the item, that is the element that we want to insert into the queue, will be assigned to the position at that position. That means after increase the queue rear by 1, we can have another position for the new element. Okay, so at that position we assign the element item, that is the item represent the new element that to be inserted into the queue. Okay, so this is the add queue operation. So by add queue operation we can add a new element to the queue. Now to delete the element, we can also define another function. Okay, and that function will be called delete queue function. So in this function we are considering two arguments. The first argument is the item, that is the item here represent the pointer variable. That is why we associate a star here we associate a star with the item. So this item represent a pointer variable which will be type of data type, and we take another pointer variable q which will be type of q. Okay, now if q front not equals to q rear, so what does this mean? That means if the sum position is not pointed to by both the front and rear, that means that position, the elements of that position will not be holding by front both the front and rear variables. Okay, so here q front, if q front found to be not equals to q rear, then we can get the item by writing. So here we are writing star item equals to q elements plus q front. That means first we get the elements. First we get the elements. That means after getting the elements, we are delete. That means when the element will be deleted, the front of the queue will be incremented by 1. So here we are incrementing, that is the plus q front represent that we are incrementing the front. We are incrementing the front by 1. Okay, so to therefore to access that element, we are writing q elements. That means here elements is the name of the array. Okay, and q elements plus q front represent the represent the represent the element. So first we here the this is the composite statement. In this composite statement, we first increment the front variable by 1. Then we get the element that is to be deleted from the queue. So this statement, this single statement, is the composite statement. Okay, in this statement we have two different programming situation that we can represent by this statement, where we first increase the front variable by 1. Okay, so after incrementing front variable by 1, then we get the element which is to be deleted from the queue. Now suppose here we have an empty queue. Okay, so when the queue is found to be empty, both the front and rear will be found to be assigned by -1. That means initially both front and rear will be assigned by -1, and that condition represent the queue is empty. Okay, that means the queue is empty. Now we can perform insertion and deletions repeatedly to get the new elements and the elements which are to be deleted. So when the elements are to be added to the queue, the rear variable will be incremented by 1. Okay, and when the elements will be deleted from the front variable will be incremented by 1. Now suppose that we can have some situation where the one element in the queue will be pointed to by both front and rear. That means both front and rear will point to a common element. So here we can see the fourth element. Okay, so fourth element is pointed to by both front and rear. That means, so after this point, some positions are still available. Okay, and after deletion of the first three elements, so first three positions will be found to be empty. Okay, that means first three elements are available for new elements, or we can keep these positions vacant, because there is no other way to get the new elements in these positions. That means after deletion of the elements, so front will be incremented by 1. So here we can see that the front is trying to catch up with the rear variable. So here the rear points to the fourth element. So after deletion of the first three elements, now front will also point to the fourth element. And here first three elements are deleted, therefore first three positions will be available for the new elements. Even after the rear elements, the remaining positions will also be available for the new elements. Now when we perform the insertion and deletions operation repeatedly, then at some point this situation may arise. Okay, so we can encounter with this problem, since at the beginning three positions are still available after deletion of the elements for the new elements. Okay, so if we do not use these first three positions for the new elements, or for the elements which are already found in the queue, then will be uh, these three positions will be found to be unavailable. Okay, how to deal with this problem? So we can modify the delete queue operation. Okay, so how this delete queue operation is modified? So for that we can define a function. Okay, we call this function delete queue, and here what we are doing, first we check whether queue front is found to be equal to queue rear or not. Okay, so if queue front is found to be queue rear, that means either the queue is empty, or one single element in the queue is pointed to by both front and rear. Okay, so both these conditions may possible. Now if we found that queue front is equal to queue rear, then we can assign -1 to queue front, we can assign -1 to queue rear. Okay, that means we are resetting the queue front and queue rear by -1. So whenever we will see that queue front is found to be queue rear, then we will resetting the q front and q rear by -1. That is why here we are assigning -1 to q front and assigning -1 to q rear. Okay, and we are making item to be null. Otherwise, if q front is not found to be equal to q rear, so we will increment the q front by 1. That means since the deletion operation is performed at the front of the queue, therefore here q front will be incremented by 1. Okay, then we indicate the next element by the next statement here by writing star item equals to q elements plus q front. Okay, so this element this statement will take us to the, or in this statement will give us the next element. So after incrementing the front variable by 1, then we get the next element, which is that means the next element means the element which is to be deleted. So if the, so in the previous example here we can see that first three elements are deleted. That is why the front is now pointing to the fourth element. So rear is also pointing to the fourth element. So at this point, both the front and rear is found to be equal. So when such situation will be created in queue, so we have to reset both front and rear. So when we reset both front and rear, what we do, we just assign -1 to both the variable. Okay, front and rear. So what we are, so this is what we are doing here. Okay, so whenever we found q front equals to q rear, then only we are assigning -1 to q front and -1 to q rear. Otherwise, when both the variables both the variables will be holding the different elements. Okay, then we can increase the front position by 1. That means the element which are to be deleted, before we delete the element, we get the incremented position of the front. Okay, and then we indicate the element. Any questions from here?
No, sir.
Okay, so that's all for today. In the next class, we will complete this topic on Q data structure, and then we will start the sorting algorithms. Okay. Okay, that's all for today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.